What's up, guys? Doomwake here. Welcome back to another video here on the channel. As always, before we continue, make sure to hit the thumbs up button. If you enjoy the content, please consider subscribing to the channel. And last but not least, be sure to let me know in the comment section below what you thought of the video. A couple things before we get started. I noticed y'all did not like the Hammer Time video as much that we did yesterday, so we probably won't have Hammer Time in the rotation anymore. Again, I really appreciate y'all letting me know in the comments what you are thinking of the video. If you have any ideas for maybe a deck that I haven't played or maybe some new content, I'm all here for it. I'm getting to the point where I keep going through the rotation. I keep playing decks that I feel like I've already played on the channel before. So if you have any ideas, please feel free to let me know because I am all ears. But today, we're going back into the kitchen, and this is a deck that I really enjoy playing. So this particular list comes from Magic Online user Shock-Chan, who has 5-0'd a couple leagues with Willow Geist, Ravenous Squirrel. Let me get the card reader up so you can see what these cards do here. So this particular user has 5-0'd a couple of times with this list over the past couple of days. Yeah, I'll put that right there. That looks good. And I'm pretty excited. So we played with Willow Geist on the channel. I think it was like a week ago-ish. I built like a Jund version with Ren and 6, and it felt okay, but I don't think we were maximizing Willow Geist as much. And I think maybe the missing piece for me might have been Bloodghast, which is something that you can discard to Underworld Cookbook, which is nice because you can discard it to Cookbook. You can get it back with a land. You can sacrifice it to Witch's Oven, and then, let's say you have a fetch land, right? You go Cookbook, discard Bloodghast, Cookbook, discard Bloodghast, get back Bloodghast with a fetch land, sack Bloodghast to Witch's Oven, crack the fetch land, get back Bloodghast. You can really generate a lot of value with Bloodghast, and I think that might be the missing piece. So we've decided to eschew red, and let's go over the cards here. So first and foremost, the engine of the deck, Asmo and Cookbook. I'm sure you've seen these cards before if you've watched videos on my channel, because I've definitely this is kind of my pet card from the set. I'm in love with this card. It just does so much. A 1-mana 3/3 that has that much text. It can dominate battlefields. Just a really incredible card if you can abuse it. Cookbook, which is our food generation, and then we are pairing it with Ovalchase Daredevil. The combo is you discard Daredevil to Cookbook. Daredevil's in the graveyard. When you generate the food puts back Daredevil into your hand. So it basically allows you to just tap the Cookbook and make a food for free without having to be down any resources, because that's the hardest part, is when you need to generate a bunch of food to have the game go longer with Asmo, you don't want to be down resources. And then we're playing the new card from Innistrad Midnight Hunt, Willow Geist, which is a card that generates or gets bonuses whenever cards leave your graveyard. So the Cookbook Daredevil, every time you go through one iteration of that, you get a counter on the Geist. You get a counter on the Geist whenever Bloodghast comes back into play. You get a counter on the Geist whenever you go through one iteration of Witch's Oven plus Cauldron Familiar. And then additionally, you also get a counter from Dredging Life from the Loam, because that is Life from the Loam leaving the graveyard. And then you also can get Feasting Troll King coming back from the graveyard into play. So there's a lot more synergies with Willow Geist in this deck, which is awesome, because I think that card is great, and I think that the deeper you go in on Willow Geist, you'll really, truly understand that card's full power, that card's full potential, and hopefully we'll get to see it today, because I am a pretty big fan of this card. We also have Ravenous Squirrel, which is a card from MH2 that has not really seen a ton of love. I had tried one copy in the past in very, very early versions of the Black Rain Food deck when I was playing 4 Finales as just another tutor target. But we're playing it here as 3 copies. So I think the idea here is we have a much more aggressive slant of this food deck, because we have Willow Geist and Ravenous Squirrel that are 1-drops that get larger as the game progresses. So we can have a lot more aggressive draws that involve double 1-drop, like turn 1 Willow Geist, turn 2 artifact plus another 1-drop, and you can just start really going in on the early pressure. And then kind of use Asmo to just keep up the tempo, so it's much more, you know what I mean? It is more of a tempo-based black-green deck than the more traditional controlling types that see like 4 finales, 4 Trail of Crumbs, and are just trying to play a much longer game. And I like that. The aforementioned Bloodghast to go along with ovens, that kind of stuff. We have a Shadow Spear to go with our Urza Sagas because we're obviously an Urza Saga deck. I think that if you're playing Cookbook, you kind of have to be playing with Urza Saga. Just consistency, more copies of Cookbook. Also, Cookbook plus Daredevil generates a lot of artifacts, which just make your constructs gigantic. So I think you really want to be playing Saga. 4 familiars, 4 ovens. You'll notice that in previous versions we've had 3 and 3 of each of those, and the reason we're going with 4, because we have Willow Geist and Ravenous Squirrel. So we want to have Familiar and Oven way more consistently, because it works so well with both of our 1-drops. Like, example, if you have Familiar and Oven, and you have a Ravenous Squirrel in play, every time you go through an iteration of the Oven, that's 2 counters on the Squirrel, because you get a counter for sacking the Familiar to the Oven, and then you get a counter on the Squirrel for sacking the food to bring back the Familiar. So you can make some really large creatures. And then when we have Shadow Spear is even better in this version than it is in previous food versions, because not only do we have the constructs from Urza Saga, but we just have giant squirrels and Willow Geist to put a Shadow Spear on. So it's I love that interaction too. And then rounding out the deck, we have 1 Bone Shards just as additional interaction. It's also a discard outlet for Asmo if you need that. 3 copies of Street Wraith, just kind of quote-unquote free to put into your deck, and just enables turn 1 Asmos, more aggressive draws. We only have 2 Finale of Devastations, which I kind of wish that there was room to play more of them, but I think once you start adding like the Bloodghast and the Willow Geist package, there's really not anything else you can cut. I mean, maybe the Bone Shards, maybe you could cut the Loam. I'm not 100% sure if you wanted to play more finales. But we're only going with 2 here, which, I've been a pretty big fan of that card before. But because we have other synergies, we're not relying on Asmo as much. Like, we can win a game in this deck without Asmo. We have, Willow Geist plus a Squirrel and all the synergies that go along with it. So I think that's okay. And then 2 Feasting Troll Kings rounding it out, a card that I've not been the biggest fan of. However, I think it is much better in this more aggressively slanted version, because we can get to a spot where if we have an early Geist or Squirrel, we can put a lot of pressure on them and get them into a spot where Troll King is, maybe a 1 or a 2 turn clock, as opposed to kind of putting all your eggs in one Troll. Bad joke, but putting all of your eggs in one Troll King and just kind of hoping that it gets there, like discarding a whole bunch of resources, and it's like a 3-turn clock or something like that. So I think it's much better in this deck. Just going over the mana base briefly, we got only 5 fetch lands. I couldn't really figure out room to add more. The deck list that I actually copied only had 3 Urza Sagas, so I cut the extra fetch land for the 4th Saga because I can't imagine playing less than 4 Sagas. But yeah, we got Marshes, Pathways, some Shocklands, a Yavimaya, which helps the Feasting Troll, the Finale of Devastation. So you can go turn 1 drop, and then turn 2 Saga plus Finale. And then moving on to the sideboard, we got some Thought Seizes for combo matchups. We got a Bone Shards when we need to. Can't speak today. A Bone Shards when we need to interact with additional creatures, like additional removal spells. Trail of Crumbs for when the game goes long. We got a Scavenging Ooze as a 1-of, which is kind of cool with Finale, so when we board it in, we essentially have 3 copies for graveyard decks. We got a Witherbloom command. It's good against Hammer Time, gets back a Saga. Really good against Hammer Time because you can kill, let's say, like an X1 and also kill one of their non-creature permanents, so you can kind of get a pretty good 2-for-1 there. Assassin's Trophy, which is mainly here for Tron, but it's just a good catch-all. Abrupt Decay, good against DRC, Ragavan decks. Void Mirror here for Cascade and Tron, E-Tron, all that stuff. And then we got some additional Saga targets, a Lantern for graveyard decks, and a Needle for Hammer Time and Planeswalkers. That was a lot, so that was the deck list. I will not keep you waiting any longer, so without further ado, I'll see you back here in just a little bit for round number 1. YouTube, we're back. Round number 1, Black-Green Food. Let's do it to it. This hand's dope, because we got a turn 1 Wraith, so we can go Cycle, Fetch Land, Asmo, turn 2 Land, Familiar plus Oven. Yeah, this hand is juiced up. This hand is juice. The question is, do we get a swamp or an overgrown tomb? Swamp or overgrown tomb, huh? Obviously, if we get overgrown tomb, it's bad if you're playing like burn or something, but I think it is important to have access to green mana because we have familiar plus oven. Green mana for Willow Geist is pretty important, so I'm gonna get overgrown tomb, I think. Yeah, I'm gonna get overgrown tomb. So let's go cycle this. We could also just draw a pathway. Or a, what you call it? Pathway or Blooming Marsh. But I'm going to get overgrown tomb. Let's get the cookbook. Could even go cookbook, discard Bloodghast. Play land, get back Bloodghast. Play Oven? Amulet, okay. Well, Asmo's pretty good against Amulet. So I want to generate as much food as possible. Well, I could even go... So I think I want to go cookbook, discard Bloodghast, play Saga, get back Bloodghast, play oven, because then I can sack the Bloodghast to the oven to make a second food. Yeah, okay, that's good. Yep, that makes sense. If I need a second food, I have the oven plus the Bloodghast. So yeah, that makes more sense. Discard Ghast, get back Bloodghast, and then play oven. Not going to sack the Bloodghast quite yet. I don't really need to, but if I absolutely have to, then I can sack the Bloodghast and make a second food. Which I probably will have to at some point if they have like a Dryad this turn or something, maybe. But we shall see what they have. I don't know if they have outs to Asmo game 1. Sometimes they have like an explosives. They probably don't have that many outs. So this is probably going to be Dryad. Dr. Yad, as it were. Could be a Azusa. Alright, the Dr. Yad. Dr. Yad. Yeah, I don't really think there's a reason to end of turn sack the Bloodghast. Try to think if there is. So if I sack it EOT... Sack it EOT, untap, play fetch, sack it again, or untap, sack, play fetch. Yeah, I guess there is a reason to sack it EOT, because I have the fetch land, and I'm not attacking through the Dryad anyways. I guess they could have Dismember. Maybe I should have responded to the Dryad and done this. Because if I was gonna do it, anyways, I might as well just respond to the Dryad in case they have like Dismember. Because now they could Dismember the Asmo in response to that food activation. Alright, untap. That goes to chapter 2. Let's cycle this first. Alright, so play Catacombs, get back Bloodghast. Let's go sacrifice Bloodghast. I'm not going to kill the Dryad. But I'm just going to do all this now. I don't think I'm going to play around them having main deck Needle. They don't usually have main deck Needle. Let's get Forest in case we draw a Finale. Get back the Bloodghast, and yeah, I'm just going to pass. Just going to pass with Asmo activation. I can make a fourth food as well. But it's one of those things where, like, I guess I could make the food in response to the Saga trigger. But if they have main deck Needle, they're just going to name Asmo anyways. I wonder, okay, maybe I actually missed damage there, because if I have 4 food, it's probably just free for me to kill the Dryad anyways, right? Because it's so unlikely they can put a second Titan into play. You know they have a bounce land, so Amulet, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I think 6. Well, I guess if they have 2 Titans in their hand. 4, 6. Nah, okay. Yeah, I just missed damage. I should have done this on my turn and attack for 3. Yeah, I just missed damage, because I'm going to kill the Dryad anyways, I think. But again, I think this is bad if they have exactly 2 Primeval Titans in their hand. But if they only have 1, they don't have enough mana to T-West through the chain. But yeah, this is definitely bad if they have 2 Primeval Titans in their hand. Because then I think I'm just close to dead. Okay, so that's 3 mana floating, plus the bounce land is 7. Yeah. So 7 mana. Well, 6 with the breeding pool untapped, I should say. Okay, Pact for Titan. Yep, Titan resolves. So let's see if they have another Titan in their hand. But again, if I give them the Dryad, they get 4 extra mana. Right, because they get an extra land drop. So it'd be 6. Yeah, I kind of think that... So they pick up T-West. Just trying to think. Maybe I wasn't supposed to kill the Dryad. But I feel like if they have 4 extra mana, they can go up the chain with T-West. Because that's the 4 extra mana is the 4 mana they need to transmute T-West, right? Okay, they do have main deck explosives. But they're on the hook for a Pact, and they only have 3 mana in play, so they have to play a Dryad or an Azusa right now or they die. Right? Because they're on the hook for a Pact. Explore, sure. Okay, they got an Explore. AE for 0. Okay. But I can still kill the Titan. So this is not too bad. And again, they're on the hook for a Pact. So let's go... I mean, there's no reason not to make the Saga token end of turn. Might as well. So let's do that. They're going to pop this now? I mean, they should wait to at least get the Saga token, right? They should at least wait. I don't know that they should wait on the second one. Because they're worried about main deck Needle. But they should at least wait till I make this Saga token. Alright, so make this. Untap. No, they're going to pop it now. Okay, sure. We're going to pop it now. Yeah, I will respond, kill their Titan. Titan's dead. My 2 things are dead. Untap. And remember, they're on the hook for a Pact. Oh, that's pretty good too. I wonder if I just don't make a Construct now. And just play the Asmo instead. Kind of want the pressure, though. Because can they realistically Titan next turn anyways? They're on the hook for a Pact, which means they have to tap these 4 mana to pay. They have a bounce land that's 4 mana. They would need, like, bounce land plus Azusa or Explore plus Titan. think I can afford to make a construct here. Plus, it's just way more pressure. It's close. It's definitely close. Alright, Saga resolves. Let's get... I don't think I want another cookbook, because I already have enough stuff. I guess I could just get an oven. Yeah, because I have the familiar. Okay, so let's go attack for 2. I'm attacking for 2 first, because then I'm going to sack the Bloodghast to the oven. Make a food. Play the Saga, get back the Bloodghast. And then, so get back that. Saga goes up. And ship the turn? Okay, ship the turn. So they pay for Pact. We just have to hope they can't Titan this turn, and we should be in pretty good shape. Again, they would need Bounce Land, Explore / Azusa, and Titan. Which, you know, they could have, but I think this line made sense. Where's the Bounce Land? Okay, that's step 1. God. Okay, they don't have it. They just have... Sure. Alright, cool. The last card is the Bounce Land. I was a little worried for a second. Alright, so end of turn, get back familiar, trigger, sack the familiar, make a food. Let's go untap. Alright, so let's go discard Bloodstained Mire, cast Asmo, get a book, and I think what I'm going to do... Okay, they're off it. What I was going to do is play a Saga, attack with these 2, make a construct, and then hold up an Asmo activation. And given that they have no cards in hand, I don't think they can beat that. Because even if they draw Titan, we just Asmo it. Alright, so we're playing against Titan. Thoughtseize is potentially good. Trail is too slow. Ooze is bad. Witherbloom Command. What does this one do? It destroys a non-creature, non-land permanent. So... just Amulet? Nah, that's not worth it. Decay kills Azusa, Amulet, Dryad. And potentially could hit in explosives, but I don't feel... Nah, I don't know if that's going to matter. Could Needle for explosives. Lantern and Mirror are bad. So these are like the cards that I'm potentially looking at. I think these are all like close to blanks. And the question is, what's bad? I don't think this is a Shadow Spear matchup. I don't think this is a Life from the Loam matchup. A little too slow for that. I think I'm going to go a little bit down on the familiar oven stuff, because it's just... I think we need to be a little bit more aggressive, and if I'm going to bring in this interaction, that's, I think, the cards that I want to cut, and then we're going to bring in the second Bone Shards, because it's pretty good against their 3-drops. Not as good against Titan, but good against their 3-drops. I think Decay doesn't hit quite enough for me, so I think we're going to leave that one on the sidelines. And then it's a question of, do I want Needle or Trophy, or do I want both? I think I'm just going to bring in Trophy. Kind of, like, giving them a land sucks, but it's a pretty big tempo swing when you Trophy a Titan after they go for a haste attack, so I think it's worth it. Geist, Daredevil, lands. Don't think we can afford to keep this one. Doesn't actually do anything. So we'll go to 6. Thoughtseize, Familiar, Oven, Ravenous Squirrel. Okay. Alright, we can work with this. I think I'm putting back the 3rd land. Yeah, because I want to keep Squirrel and then Oven Familiar. So let's put back the... Overgrown Tomb, I guess? Sure. Oh, what do we got? Opponent kept 7. That's not good for us. Relic of Progenitus. All right, I think I'm going to lead on... I think I can afford to lead on Ravenous Squirrel. Gets more pressure in play. I don't think I need to Thoughtseize them. And I want to, like, wait on the Thoughtseize until I get the most, till I get the most amount of looks towards a Titan. And if they just go, like, Bounce Land Pass, then I can go Catacombs, Oven, Familiar, go through a loop, and then smash them for 3. Because they'll be tapped out with the Relic. So this potentially sets me up for a turn for a 3 damage attack next turn. If they have a Bounce Land and tap out of the Relic. Okay, well. I wonder if they drew that. Or if they had it. Okay, so, I mean, I guess I could potentially force the Relic activation if I go Oven plus Familiar. Is that risky? Because then I'm not casting Thoughtseize. Yeah, it's risky, but... Alright, let's play Catacombs. Let's get a... I think I'm just going to end up getting an Overgrown Tomb because I want double black and I also want double green for Finale. Yeah, so let's go... Oh, this is tough. So if I play Oven and Familiar and sack the Familiar, they probably are going to pop the Relic. And then I can just go, if they play a 3-drop, I can just go Bone Shards your 3-drop and Thoughtseize you next turn, hopefully. With a 2-2 in play. I think it's fine. Alright, I will exile my land. Right, like I think they have to pop the Relic here. I don't think they want to give me a 3-3 and let me keep my Familiar. But I think I'm down to force the issue. I think I am down to force the issue. If they let the food go off and just let me have this, then I'll probably pass priority. Yeah, now I'm going to pass priority, I think. Because I think 2 is enough, because now if they go to pop the Relic, I can just get back the cat in response. And if they tap the Relic now, I can then do the cat, and then force them to spend a mana now, if they want to get rid of it. Oh, but I guess they're just going to play their 3-drop first, and then play their land. Foundation Breaker. Okay. So they're going to blow up the oven. They should tap the Relic in response. They definitely should have tapped the Relic in response, because now they tap the Relic, I just exile the oven. Yeah, they should have tapped the Relic first, I think. Okay, this worked out, sort of. Alright, what you got? What you got, opponent? What are you working with? Dr. Yad, Engineered Explosives, Force of Vigor. If they play explosives, they lose their amulet. But I kind of have Dr. Yad covered because I have this, and I really don't care about the force. So I think I'm just going to take the explosives anyways. Let's play a cookbook. And let's go combat. I'm going to attack. And I'm going to sack the food to the Familiar. If they decide to pop the Relic, I'm going to respond, discard Blooming Marsh, and get back the Familiar again. Yeah. Because that'll also make this a 4-4, and it'll keep the Familiar. This card's pretty good. I'm pretty impressed with this one. Alright, they're going to make me exile a card. I'll exile Thoughtseize. That's fine. Because I don't think I really need this third land. And then I could just discard whatever I draw to Bone Shards to kill the Dryad. Because remember, the last 2 cards are Dryad and Force. But I guess they could force pitch a card, but... Alright, they're doing this. I'm okay with that, again, because we can just get back to familiar anyways. And we get a bigger squirrel. Alright, so we get a 4/4 squirrel, they go to 12, they got a dryad and a force. We have a 3-turn clock and a removal spell for their dryad. I mean, it's going to be dicey if they draw a Titan, but can't really do much against that anyways. I think we have to try and beat what they have, not what they don't have. Could also just sack the familiar to kill the dryad, which I probably will do. Ooh, yeah, because now we can just get a bigger squirrel. Yeah, because that one also gets pumped. So kill this, sacrifice, pump the squirrels, attack for 5. We have a squirrel infestation. A squirrel infestation. Man, this card is a lot better than I thought it was. So now they go to 7. They're actually just dead. We just have lethal next turn. That's dope. That's awesome. And even if they play a 3-mana creature, they have to chump block. Because they can't afford to block this one, because if they take 6, I can just discard the card I draw and then get back the cat and they're dead. So even if they play like a Dryad or a Zeus, they'd literally just have to chump block this. I mean, unless they play Titan this turn, but again, not much I can do about that. So we know they have a force. At least we know that card doesn't really do anything. I guess they can kill the cookbook, but not sure how relevant that is. It's not dealing with the squirrel problem. Okay, there's an Azusa. They picked up a bounce land. But even if their last card's Titan, they can't Titan me. Right? 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, they only have 5 mana. And they have Force of Vigor, which is fine. This is 3 mana, sack a thing. But it's better to just make a food and then sack the food to get back that. Yeah, okay. So attack with both. Attack with both. Pretty sure it's better to discard this. I mean, they have to chump block the 5/5 either way, right? And then I can just discard this, sack a food, bring back familiar. They go to 6, take 3, go to 3, and then I have 2 lethal creatures because they're at 3 and this is bigger. So, yeah, that works. Works for me. I don't really think I need this land. So make a food. I wonder if they were supposed to blow up the cookbook before I untapped. I feel like maybe they were supposed to. I'm not sure. Okay, so trigger, they go to 6. Damage happens, they go to 3, and then we have 2 lethal creatures. And they have a Force of Vigor that doesn't really do that much. I mean, yeah, they can blow up the cookbook, I guess, but... Cookbook down. So their last card's Titan, they have to draw a land just to cast it. Got the GGs. Ravenous Squirrel. Ravenous Squirrel beatdown. So that was cool. This is the first time I've actually played with this card, and it looked pretty impressive. So, I mean, you know, that's definitely a good sign for that card. 1-0. I'll see you back here in just a little bit for round number 2. All right, YouTube, round number 2 here. Opponent's got a Lurrus. What do we got? We got a Cookbook, an Asmo, a Daredevil. Yeah, I'm in. All right, let's go. I am in. Sands may be a little sketch against Hammer Time. Ooh, we're playing against Burn. We have a Cookbook. Everything is okay. And Witch's Oven. Yeah, this matchup is tough for Burn. Let's just say that. Question is, do I want to kill the Goblin Guide on turn 1? I could. If I Bone Shards, discard Daredevil, play Cookbook, get back Daredevil. I'm trying to think if they have an Eidolon, if that's worse for me. Because if I let them have Goblin Guide, I can just go, like, turn 1 Cookbook, make a food, untap, make a food, Play Bone Shards targeting the Eidolon and then play Asmo. I think it's preventing more damage if I do it this way, though. So let's do... I guess it's better to discard the Bloodghast. Let's do it this way. I think killing the guide now prevents more damage in the long run. And I think one of the ways that you lose to burn with food decks is just taking unnecessary damage early. Like, once you untap with a Cookbook and a Daredevil, it's just so hard for them to win if they don't have multiple creatures in play. So just kill their creatures as much as you can, and then you should be good. Swift Spear. Like, here I think I also might just not put the Asmo into play, because I want to make sure I can get value out of it before they kill it. I also kind of want to get this Shockland tapped. So I think what I'm going to do is play Cookbook. I guess I could... No, let's do it this way. Let's go Shockland tapped, get back Bloodghast, and then just pass. So we can take a hit from the Swift Spear, but next turn we can go make a food, make another food, play Asmo. I guess we don't have enough to, because we won't have an extra food in play, so we can't play Asmo, kill the Swift Spear, and make a food. Alright, I'm at 11. Okay, I'm at 8. So we go to 4. Oh, I'm actually just dead if they have a bolt here. Holy crap! I guess I didn't play her on triple 1-mana spell. Yeah, well, actually, could I have beaten that anyways? I don't think I could have. Because my only other line... Well, I guess I could have put the Asmo to play the Chump Block. That would have been my other line. Wow. Did not expect to lose that game. Okay. I mean, this matchup is really good. So... Bring in Bone Shards, Thoughtseize bad, Ooze no, Trail no, Decay. I think even the 2-mana removal is too slow. I'm just going to bring in Bone Shards, Cut Loam. I don't mind keeping all the 1-drops. Yeah, I think this is fine. We are on the play. I don't lose to burn very often with Asmo. We were in the draw that game, so... On the play, that game's a lot easier. Okay. Uh-oh. Oh, no. Oh, no. Not like this. I mean, this is the other way you lose to burn. Oh, man. Alright, I have to keep this. I think I'm putting back Asmo and Bloodghast. Because I want to play Saga on 2. Yeah, so let's do it this way. Let's get a basic Forest, and then play Witch's Oven. I think that makes sense. Well, I mean, yeah, it's a really good matchup, but, you know, this is how you lose. On the draw, game 1, they have Guide into 2 1-drops into 3 more 1-drops. And then game 2, you mull the 5 on the play. That's how you lose to burn, I guess. Let's go Willow Geist and Saga. Your turn. If they have a removal spell, I can turn the Geist into a food. So that's not too bad. I can have Wear Tear, I guess. Kill the Saga. Okay. No 1-drop, just tap land. Can live with that. They have to have an Eidolon here, right, to follow up. Yeah. Okay. Which is fine, because we can just make a food. Make a food. Or, not make a food, make a construct. Alright, Catacombs go. I guess I should fetch main phase in case they have a Wear Tear. I'm just gonna go Swamp anyways. I definitely don't want to cycle the Wraith right now. I might end up in a spot where I have to, but I don't want to do it right now. I I think if they attack with Eidolon, I'll probably offer the trade. I'll just block and I won't sack the Willow Geist to the oven. Worth noting, Willow Geist does gain you a little bit of life against burn. I guess I could also just block sack. That also gives me a bigger construct and gains me a life. Not really do anything else with the Willow Geist. Yeah, I guess that's fine. I'm down with it. I gain a life. I gain a life. Make a food. I think if I had like a familiar or a Bloodghast, maybe I wouldn't do that, but... So they're almost certainly just going to pass. Roiling Vortex. Alright, let's make a token. I should have waited till their end step, but... Alright, take a damage. We can just kind of go beatdown mode, though. Just gonna make a token. Yeah, make a token. Get a cookbook. Oh, they have bolt for the token. Okay. Make a food. Make another token. I think I'm still getting a cookbook. Yeah, getting the Shadow Spear is not really good versus the Vortex. So let's just make a food now. I'm not going to cycle the Wraith. We'll just do it this way. Alright, 6/6, your turn. They have 4 cards. They have an Eidolon. We can't give it Trample, but we can kind of mess with their Vortex a little bit by holding up 2 mana for a food. But I guess they have enough lands that it doesn't matter, right? They're just going to be able to hold up mana. They have Path to Exile. Okay. That's pretty good for them. Yeah, now we're in a pretty bad spot, huh? Because now, even though we're holding up mana, like, they're just going to hold up 1 mana the entire game now. Wow. Alright, alright. Their draw was pretty good. So, Bone Shards, the Eidolon, play Willow Geist? Yeah, I think that's what we have to do. I don't think I can afford to cycle this Street Wraith. I can get a big Willow Geist, though. Because I have a Daredevil, so... Let's do it this way. I mean... This is not the worst. We have a 2/2 Willow Geist. We can make it a 3/3. Also, this Rift Bolt, if they go upstairs with the Rift Bolt, they'd take 5. Oh, wait. If I had not killed the Eidolon, but they had been dead? They would have been dead, wouldn't they? Okay. So, yeah. Because they would have taken 2 off the Rift Bolt, and they would have went to 1, and they're at 1 with a Vortex in play. I would have taken 2 more damage, because I would have taken 2 to cast the Geist. Although, no, because I would just not cast the Bone Shards in that case, right? Yeah, I would just not cast the Bone Shards. Yeah, so I messed up. I should have just not cast Bone Shards. I forgot they had to take damage off of the Vortex. Okay. But the thing is, they're now at 3 and I'm at 7, and they have no cards. And they have a Vortex. I guess they can go to 2 to put Lurrus in hand? They're choosing not to do that. Okay, play this as green in case I draw Finale. Yeah, this is a weird game. So I should have definitely not played the Bone Shards. Yeah, I think I would have just killed them if they didn't play the Bone Shards. Right, okay. That was where I messed up. I should have just not cast that card. They're bolting me. So I go to 3. Okay. And they're choosing not to put Lurrus into their hand. I guess they can't, right? Because if they put Lurrus, I sack a food, they crack a fetch, then they die. Is there any reason to make sack a food here? I guess there's not a lot of reason not to, right? I have enough food. Yeah, so all I had to do this game was not cast the... all I had to do was not cast the Bone Shards, and I would have won this game. I forgot they would have taken... I forgot they were taking 5 off of the Vortex. I should actually not play the Daredevil, because, yeah, I think it's better to not play the Daredevil, because if they draw a 3-mana burn spell, they have to pay 3 for the burn spell. Okay. Well, that was a reason to play it. So, it was basically... I had a decision to make. So, the reason for playing the Daredevil is if they draw exactly Goblin Guide or Swiftspear. The reason for not playing the Daredevil is if they draw a 3-mana burn spell like a Rift Bolt or a Skewer, they have to spend 3 mana on it. Then I respond, crack a food. They pay 1 to activate the Vortex. I respond to that, crack another food. They can't crack the fetch because they're at 1. Skewer, Rift Bolt. I guess I should have played around the 1-drops because they had more 1-drop creatures in their deck than they did 3-mana burn spells. So maybe, yeah, that was a mistake, and then obviously I should have not cast the Bone Shards. So yeah, I made a couple mistakes this game for sure. Kind of unfortunate. You know, that's how you lose a good matchup. Anyways, we're 1-1. I'll see you back here in just a little bit for round number 3. Alrighty, YouTube, we are here for round number 3. What do we got? Got Oven Familiar. Got a Troll King and no way to discard it. I think this hand's still okay. Oven Familiar. Potentially could play the Bloodghast as well. I think it's okay. It's not the best hand, but I can live with it. Reef, huh? So we're doing the living end stuff, so they're almost assuredly going to take Oven. Well, if I draw a Cookbook, we're okay, because I can discard the Troll King if they cast Living End. But outside of drawing Cookbook, this might be a little awkward. Yeah. Classic Thoughtseize bug. Yeah, I guess I'm gonna play that. I mean, it's okay. It's not as good as a Cookbook, but it's okay. This matchup is kind of weird sometimes. It really depends on whether or not you draw Cookbook, because you can just bin creatures. You can just bin a bunch of creatures before they cast Living End. But it's a little bit tougher when you don't draw Cookbook. It's a Cookbook on layaway. Yeah, I guess that's better than playing Bloodghast. So we'll do that. And we'll play a Familiar. Your turn. It's not looking great. Not looking great. Green, blue. Waker of Waves. Seems like a Waker of Waves. Guess I shouldn't F6 in case they have Brazen Borrower. Sometimes they have that main deck. I want to say they have like 1 or 2 copies main deck, an additional copy in the sideboard or something like that. They don't play a ton of them, but they do play some number of copies. Okay, well they went to tap 2 mana and then just chose not to. If they had Waker, they obviously would have cycled Waker, so it could be a Borrower. Maybe they just didn't want to cast it on the Oven. Okay, and there's a Curator. Spire Bluff Canal. Alright, let's go through a Familiar loop. Sack Familiar. Get back Familiar, because they can't cast Living End now, so might as well get an extra point. Alright, so what do we want to draw? Cookbook. Overgrown Tomb. They're at 13. Can't quite give the Bloodghast haste. I can put them to 12, but that's about it. So attack for 1, and I guess we're just going to make a construct. Alright, go. Construct is probably not going to be good enough to beat a Living End this turn, though. Because they get 4 things, potentially more if they cycle here. Also, if they bounce the Familiar and then I sack the Familiar to the Oven, they actually get the Borrower back with Living End. So that might be what they're thinking about. They've chosen to bounce the Oven. Guess I'll put this in my graveyard. Alright, Oven's been bounced. Yeah, don't really think we're going to be able to win this one. I guess the hope is they have Shardless and we get to end of turn make a Construct, but we can't really get the Construct big enough to attack past the Riverwinder. 2, 3, 4. I guess we can, technically, if we get a Cookbook. I don't know. We're not out of it yet. Alright, looks like they have Outburst. But, again, not really much we can do about it. We just kind of have to play our cards. Just kind of ease what it is. I guess maybe this was bad. Maybe that was unnecessary. Alright, make a Construct. Unfortunately, I don't have a main deck Spellbomb or Soul Guide Lantern, because I would have gotten it there. Let's go land for turn, play Oven. Do they just not have the Outburst? Oh, they messed up. They definitely should have cast it before before the Saga went off. Okay. So, response, discard the Troll King. We can get the Troll King back. It's probably not going to be good enough. No, they grief me. They get the Bloodghast. I mean, the 7/6 does blank the 5/5. We're 23. I don't know. This could be worse. Pass the turn. Definitely could be worse. Definitely could be worse. I could have gotten Shadow Spear, but if I get Shadow Spear, I can't put the Troll King into my graveyard. So I think that would have been not as good. Black, black, green, blue. Okay, well, I don't have any cards, so sure. I don't have any cards. Seems like they're maybe out of gas. So they're probably going to attack with this, and then maybe try and double block the Troll King. I don't actually have a swamp, so I'll take that block. Maybe they thought this was an Urborg. I'll take the free block. Oh, I could have also double blocked the Grief, but I think it's better to just block this. Because I could have got back the Familiar and double blocked the Grief. Alright, let's go through an Oven loop. I don't plan on attacking with the Familiar, so I don't think there's a reason to sacrifice it now. 5, 6, 7, so they can double block and trade for the Troll King. But then I can actually get it back, right? Because I go play land, get back Bloodghast, sack Bloodghast, make a food, discard a card, make a food, get back the Troll King. Okay, yeah. So even if they double block, I can just get my Troll King back. I mean, I guess that's kind of bad if they have another Cascade spell. Maybe that's why they attack with the Wraith. Because they have another Cascade spell and they planned on double blocking and just living ending again. Like they knew I was going to be able to get this back. Attacking with the Bloodghast also might have been good. Because if they do double block here, it's just a free 2 damage. And I think they have to block, right? I don't think they can take 7. Because if they take 7, they're just so close to dead to the Familiar. Yeah, so I think the Bloodghast was a free attack. They're not blocking with the Grief, huh? Okay. I could choose to not get back the blood gas, but that doesn't really make any sense, right? Is there a reason to do anything else? I don't think so. Go. We're like actually, I think, ahead in a weird somehow. Somehow we're ahead. I think. I don't know. This is a weird game. Now there's cycling curator. Okay. Let's see what they do with the scry. They bottomed. It's a good start. Okay, your turn. Kind of surprised they didn't double block there. I also think I missed 2 damage. I think I was supposed to attack with the Bloodcast. But maybe they would have just blocked with the Grief. Which I think is also fine for me. If they just chump block and then trade for the Bloodcast. Kind of ends up being the same thing. Okay, cycle is fine. Yeah. Cycle again. I'm just going to start auto-yielding to this. I guess I should keep looking at what they're doing with the scry. So they went bottom, and then they topped that one. So this might be a... This might be a living end. Are they going to cast it now, though? Okay, so I can get back the familiar, put them to 6, double block the grief, take 7. I guess this living end is going to be hard to beat because they're going to have a lot of stuff in the graveyard. Yeah, that one might prove difficult to beat because they have a lot more stuff than the first time. Guess I'll make a food. I'm not going to sack anything to the oven because I want to be able to sack this if they cast Living End. Right? Or should I sack Familiar? If I sack Familiar, get it back, then they Living End. So I sack Familiar, make a food. Sack food, get it back, they go to 5. Living End, those die. I sack Familiar again, they go to 4. And then they're at 4. Would a second oven be lethal? Can I survive an attack? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 creatures. No, I don't think I can survive an attack. This is really tough. I think I have to go through a familiar loop, right? Yeah, I think I have to go through a familiar loop. Because I just don't think I can beat the Violent Outburst anyways. I think my only chance is, like, somehow I can survive an attack and get enough chip damage in with Oven Familiar, but I don't think that I can. Because I can't, like, even if they let me attack with this, like, if I end of turn sack, you know what I mean? It's like, that's just not, it's just not going to happen. Because they have enough stuff to block the Troll King, even if, like, this can attack next turn. They can just double block with, like, 2 Riverwinders. Alright, so they let this happen, then cast Violent Outburst. 6, 5... Yeah, this is going to be tough. Okay, Violent Outburst is on the stack. Living End resolves, all their stuff comes back. Targeting themselves, yeah. So they go to 5. We can get back the familiar again. So they go to 4. And then we go to 13. Yeah, we can't really survive, right? And even if we draw another oven, it's not enough. So we go sack, get it back, sack, get it back. Block there, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 14, 18. All right, you win. All right, Lantern coming in, Void Mirror coming in. Again, I really dislike Thoughtseize against Living End. Bone Shards is kind of bad. Scavenging Ooze is good. Not a fan of these cards, so we gotta bring in... We gotta cut 3 more cards. I think Loam is too slow. I think... Ravenous Squirrel can get trimmed, and maybe a Bloodghast, because it's just so low impact. Yeah, this looks good. You want to keep all the Wraiths, you want to keep all the Troll Kings. I think you want to keep the Finales, because you want access to Asmo. Yeah. Another thing that comes up sometimes in this matchup is you can Asmo to fight itself if they cast Living End, so... Game number 2, here we are, playing against Living End. Squirrel Daredevil 5 lands, no thanks. Okay. I think this hand is acceptable. Question is, what do we play on turn 1? I think I just want to get the beatdowns going and go turn 1 Geist, turn 2 Oven Familiar, and then we can potentially turn 3 Asmo. But what am I putting back at that point? Yeah, see, it's awkward, right? This is kind of like the perfect 7-card hand, but I don't know what to put back. This is really tough. Maybe I just put back... Okay, maybe I change my mind. Maybe I put back the Geist and go turn 1 familiar... Excuse me, turn 1 familiar. Turn 2... Cookbook, discard the card that I draw, play Asmo, and then I can play the Oven the turn after. Okay, yeah, I think that's best. Yeah, I think that's best. So yeah, let's go turn 1 Familiar, I think. Well, no, I can actually go turn 1 Oven, turn 2 Cookbook, discard Familiar. Yeah, play... Yeah, that's way better. That's way better, I think. Because then I could just discard the Familiar to the Cookbook and then cast the Asmo. Just, like, not lose a lot of resources that way. I think that makes more sense. Well, should have put back the Familiar. Alright, Cookbook. Discard Familiar. I guess they could force this, and that would suck. But... Sure. Alright, you get a force. It's possible I was supposed to play Saga on turn 1, so I could get access to... Yeah, could have done that too. Could have played Saga on 1 to give me quicker access to a Soul Guide Lantern, and just, like, give up the Construct tokens. Because I don't really have time for the Construct tokens in this matchup. Yeah, I probably should have done that. Because I don't even have a 3rd land rolled up anyways. Yeah, that probably would have been better. We get some damage in this way, though. I don't know. They're 13. They might fetch Shock. Alright, we drew a land, which is not terrible. Let's attack for 1. I think I'm just going to hold up a Construct. Yeah. Because that might force their hand on the Living End. They are going to 9. Yeah. Alright, I'm gonna do this while they're tapped out. Just gonna get a forest for Finale. Yeah, get a forest for Finale. Alright, looks like they have the Shardless. We might be able to keep our head above water for a little bit. And then just do some chump blocking with the familiars, because we can brick this thing with the familiar, so it's only what, 7 damage? Yeah. We might be okay. Okay, let's sacrifice the familiar, but not get it back. Blue, red, green. They're doing this on upkeep. Okay, that's fine. So we can go... Well, I actually get more damage if I sack food, get back familiar, trigger, they go to 7, sack the familiar, let living end resolve, they go to 6, get another oven off of this, and then they're at 6 and we have a familiar and 2 ovens. I think it's better to do it that way. So sack the food, trigger this, sack the familiar, make a food, let living end resolve, familiar comes back, that happens, then we untap. I could also just get Asmo, or get a cookbook and then Asmo them, but I wonder if the oven kills them faster. This is interesting. Like, Asmo doesn't do that much on this board, right? Like, I feel like it's better to just make a construct and then get another oven. I think so. So let's do that. Let's play this. And just pass. Because now they're at 6 and we have a familiar and 2 ovens. We actually have a good blocker for the Street Wraith. We can just chump block the Waker. So they're only dealing us 4 damage. This seems fine. This actually seems fine. Yeah, like this is their only attacker, really. So I have an extra food, which means I think I would like to chump block the Waker, sack food, get it back, sack cat, sack food, get it back. That puts them to 4, as opposed to block sack. It's just 1 less activation, right? So I think I want to let damage happen and not sacrifice, because I have an extra food. Yeah, let's do it that way. And then even if they have something like a Fairy Macabre, I can just sacrifice the construct to make a food and then get back the familiar anyways. And I have a second familiar in my hand, so I don't even really care if they exile this first one. Like, that's just fine. Because they do play Fairy Macabre. But if they do that, I could just sacrifice the construct token, so it wouldn't even be that bad. So they go to 5. Sack the familiar. Like, now they can Fairy Macabre. But again, that's fine. We have another familiar. That doesn't really concern me. Alt cast Endurance. Yeah, sure. That's fine. My graveyard is gone. 3, 4. Also, so yeah, let's go Squirrel, Familiar, and then attack with the Construct token. Because they go to 4. Yeah, we can actually make them chump block with the Street Wraith. Yeah. Because we can sacrifice the cat to make a food. And this will be a 4/5. So this is a forced block. Let's just auto yield to this stuff. So that's a forced block. That thing dies. And then just pass. Cool. Can still block the Waker pretty easily. We have a Cycler. That's fine. It's been an interesting game. Very interesting game. Let's just auto-yield to this stuff. Alright, they're doing some cycling. I should probably see if they're topping a card. They kept the card on top. Okay. What is the card they kept on top? Let's find out. They are, I think, just dead, right? Because we can just get another oven. Yeah, they're just dead if I get to untap. So the only thing I need to play around is I just need to make sure I can't get this endurance again. Which, as long as I keep an extra food, I should be okay. I guess their hand technically could be double endurance, double green card. But, yeah, as long as we don't get this endurance, we should have lethal if we untap. God, these games are long. Games with this deck are very long. This is going to be a project in editing. Alright, combat. Combat is fine. What are we attacking with? There's no way this thing can attack. Yeah, I'll take 4. Because if this thing attacks, the squirrel's just going to be way too big. Like, we're just going to have 2 giant things anyways. Like, these are both going to be lethal. Even if the familiar somehow goes away. I don't really know how they get out of this. I don't think a second living in saves them. Like, even if they have Outburst. I don't think that saves them at all. Oh, but they can get back the endurance. Okay, but I can play around that. I just need to make sure I have an extra food. Again. As long as I keep a food around, we should be fine. Alright, my turn. Get back familiar. Yeah, so I just need to make sure I have 1 extra food. Okay, that's gone. Sacrifice familiar. Make a food. Alright, they're off it. Game 3, let's go. I think I like how I sideboarded. Sure, let's do it. Let's do it. Here we are for game number 3. We have Oven Familiar with Willow Geist. We have Asmo Daredevil, but no cookbook. I'm saying it's pretty high upside. I think it's enough upside for me to keep it, but... Grief. Good grief. We got a griefer over here. So I imagine they take the oven. Yeah, I think that makes the most sense. Because it's the only thing that's not a creature to get back with Living End. Yeah, they probably take the oven. They do, in fact, take the oven. Botanical Sanctum. Ooh. It's a little slow, but makes me want to get a Overgrown Tomb here, because I just want max green sources. Let's play the Willow Geist. It's one of those things where we probably have to run out the Scavenging Ooze and just kind of hope that they don't have the Living End on turn 3. Hope we get to untap with the Ooze. Kind of sucks, but I don't really see anything else that we can do. Maybe I should have mulliganed this hand looking for a Saga or, you know, something else. Because, like, Ooze on the draw, I mean, we drew the Ooze. The Ooze wasn't even in our hand. But Ooze on the draw is still not the best, because it's just so mana intensive. Yeah. I mean, if they don't have the turn 3 and we get to untap with Ooze, we're chilling, but I doubt that's going to happen. We have to cross your fingers, though. Cross your fingers, YouTube. Cross your fingers. Hope we get to untap with Scavenging Ooze. Or maybe they just have Subtlety. Nope. Alright, one time, untap. Please let me untap. Just one time. Don't have it on turn 3. One time. Okay. Green, blue. Cycle Waker. Oh, they have Petty Theft. Okay. Well, that leads me to believe they might not have it, because I feel like if they had it, they would have wanted... Oh, okay. Because they could have just left this in play and then cast their Living End, right? This would have died. I guess it's kind of the same thing. Yeah, they can also grief it now. I mean, to be honest with you, Asmo still kind of clears this board. So... if I draw a cookbook... Well, no, they're just going to take the Asmo, right? Yeah, they just take the Asmo. They should, I think. Because if I draw a cookbook, Asmo could... Okay, alright, cookbook. Cookbook. Asmo can handle this board. Alright. That's a cookbook. That is a cookbook. Get back Asmo. Get a basic. Get another cookbook. Play a cookbook. Make a food. Doing all this main phase so they can't respond. I think I'm just going to kill the Curator now because I don't want them looking at more cards. Let me just take 5 damage and say that's fine. And we could potentially get into a position where if they cast a Living End, we just have a better board. Yeah, I'll take 5. I'll take 5. That's fine. Ooh, and we drew a Troll King. Everything is coming up Millhouse. Alright, so Familiar. Do that. The question is, do I attack here? Yeah, because I'm not going to trade with the Asmo. So I think the attack is fine. We are now racing. Okay, let's make food now, I think. I guess I should be making it on their upkeep. Yeah, I should make food on their upkeep. Yeah. What's this? Blue, blue, 1. Oh yeah, they're going to cast the Borrower, sure. Okay, well now I'll just make another food. And kill the Borrower now? I guess there's not... Well, I'm going to end up killing it in combat, right? Might as well just kill it now. Like, there is a situation where I might want to kill my own Asmo in response. Like, just... I can't really afford to take 8, though. Yeah. I can't really afford to take 8. I am going to chump block the Shardless, though, if they attack. I actually think it's beneficial for them not to attack. Because, like, I kind of want the Familiar in the graveyard anyways. So I'm at 8. Void Mirror's not bad, because that shuts off Living Ends. So let's cast that one first. Because maybe they want a Living End in response. And then I can just discard my 2 creatures. Force of Negation, sure. So they're Hellbent. Yeah, so we can just attack and kill the Grief and go to 4. Again, I'm going to main phase the food activations. And this time I'm actually going to... yeah, because I'm going to kill this thing anyways. And I'm going to discard the Troll King so that now if they draw Living and I get the Troll King back. So they get back a Curator, a Borrower, and a Grief. I get back a Geist, an Ooze, and a Troll King, and a Familiar. And I think my board is just better at that point. What's this? Green, blue, blue, 1. Curator. Foundation Breaker. Okay, that's actually a really good draw for them. Because that cuts my food generation off. Okay, math time. Just trying to think if I want to... I think I want to sack the peatland. I don't think I want to play the Daredevil. I think it's time to play defense with Asmo, though. So let's crack the peatland. Yeah, so now I think we have to play defense. But we have the Familiar in the graveyard to buy a little bit of time. And I can also just make a food with Daredevil and gain 3 if I absolutely had to. But I can take 2 and go to 2. Just shoving, huh? Alright, make a food. Get back Daredevil. Is it better for me to sacrifice a food or bring back the Familiar? I think it's better to bring back the Familiar. So I go to 5. Then we go eat this, chump this, go to 3. Yeah, I think this is good. Untap. Play Saga. They're at 8. Okay, I think I'm just gonna attack here. I think attacking is good. This puts him to 5. I don't want to play Daredevil, because then I end up losing to just like a generic removal spell, like a Brazen Borrower or something, so I'm just gonna pass. Hold up a food activation. What happened to the Borrower anyways? Because they just cast a 3/1. I can discard, go up to 6. I think I might have been dead to Barber anyways. I think I might have messed that up. Okay, they're attacking with both. Which means I can just go... discard Daredevil, make a food. Get back the Daredevil. If they drew Endurance, they have to shock to go to 2. But then I can just crack the food, go to 6, take 4, go to 2. So even if they drew Endurance, I think we're fine. But if I sack the food to bring back Familiar to try and block, I lose to Endurance, so I think I'm just going to crack the food. So this puts me to 6. Oh, I died at Outburst this way. So it's the question of, do I want to play around Outburst or Endurance? Okay, well, they're fetching now. Right, because... if I bring back the Familiar, I just lose to Endurance. But this way I can actually beat Endurance. But I would have lost to Outburst. They didn't have the Outburst. Okay, well, yeah, now they're just dead, right? Attack for 3, make a food, bring back the cat. What was that? A 38-minute match. That's going to be a lot of editing. Wow, that match was insane. I don't even know what to say. I hope you enjoyed it. That's going to be a long one, though. I'll see you back here in just a little bit for round number 4. Alright, YouTube, we are back here for round number 4. After that marathon affair of round number 3. That was, ooh, boy, that was a wild one. Let's try and have an easier match here. 1 lander. No. Also a 1 lander. 1 lander with a lot more upside, though. I think I kind of have to keep this. I don't want to go to 5. I mean, it's not a black source to play Asmo, which I guess is awkward, but I don't really think I can afford to go to 5. Do we get a rematch against Burn? Oh, Ragavan. Okay, so it could be like Jund Saga. Street Wraith. I do kind of want to cycle that because I'd rather play a Blooming Marsh on turn 1. Alright, book. Really need the draw black source. Really need the draw black source. Oh, are we going to get him? Alright, I think we're going to try and get him. I mean, yeah, they could have Bolt for the Familiar, but... kind of in on it. The old sneaky ambush. The ambush cat, as opposed to ambush viper. Now they kind of have to bolt this, right? Deal. The sneaky ambush cat. Exile the pathway. No, I wanted to draw that. All right, land. Black Source. Yikes. So let's play the Squirrel. And then pass. Which pass, yeah. No, second land is kind of rough. Our hand's still pretty good. I think as long as we draw a second land, we should be okay. And Holy Heat. So I can discard a card, make a food, sack the food, make it the Squirrel a 2/2. Okay, that's fine. Are they going to use another burn spell on a cat? Seems like they are. Let's just do this. I don't want to show them I have the Troll King quite yet. Also, if they have some kind of like graveyard hate spell, I'd rather keep the second cat. Alright, so get this back. Bring back cat. Yeah, I mean, I'm down if they want to keep using burn spells on familiars. I've already used 2. Well, 1 they actually got a good exchange out of. Colligan's Command. Alright. Can't play that. Which is, I guess, good for us. Yeah, the Colligan's Command is going to be rough. Yeah, I mean, I guess I could have went to 5, but my 6 was good. I thought the 6 was a keep. This kind of didn't work out. Not much else to say. Given the opportunity, I think I would keep the hand again. Just kind of is what it is sometimes. I mean, obviously, if I was on 7, I would have went to 6, but on 6 already, I don't think like I don't want to go to 5. You're gonna finale for 2. That's funny. So this is gonna get Voidwalker. I would assume. Whoa. Okay, so they have Ice Fang Kotal, Ragavan, Colligan's Command, and Luris? What the hell? What's going on over there? What is going on over there, opponent? Okay, so I can Loam, I can Familiar. I think I just want to play Familiar this turn. Yeah, it doesn't use my mana that efficiently, but it does put a blocker in play for the Ragavan. I think it's okay. And then if they kill the Familiar, I can just go Loam plus I guess I can't do anything else next turn, but I can Loam plus have an extra land up. Wrenn and 6. Man, they went deep, huh? They went deep. Right, so loam back this land. I'm still going to play the Overgrown Tomb tap, though, so I can just not take damage next turn to play the Daredevil. Need to find a cookbook. That is what we need to find. Another Ice Fang. I can't say that I've seen Colligan's Command, Ice Fang, Wrenn and 6, and Luris all in the same deck before. There's a lot going on here. There's a lot going on. I think I can't afford the Dredge. I need to find a cookbook. Yeah. Alright, play a 4/2. Your turn. It doesn't matter at this point. I think we're just dead. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I guess I'll take a draw step. I will take a draw step. Witch's Oven, sure. Play that. Get back a land. My turn, no dredge. Alright, you win. You win. So we're playing against 4 Color Luris, I guess. Needle seems good against Ren. Lantern seems good. Command kills Ren. Abrupt Decay seems okay. This game seems like it's going to go long. I kind of want that stuff. Maybe Bone Shards as well. So I think in post-board games like this against Luris decks, you kind of want to trim on some of the graveyard stuff because you expect them to have a bunch of Soul Guide Lanterns. So like you kind of want to trim on, just kind of like do some trimming on this stuff. You also, worth noting, I don't think you need Street Wraith because this is generally a matchup where you're going to want to slow roll Asmo to get as much value as possible. Because you're just trying to play a longer game against them. I actually don't really think Bone Shards is that good. Like, 2-for-1ing yourself to kill a Rented 6. And the thing about Bone Shards is almost all of their cards generate value. And, like, being down an extra card in the exchange versus something like Abrupt Decay, depending on what you're discarding, obviously, is just... It's just not where I want to be. I don't think so. Yeah, this hand's dope. Hand is dope. I am going to lean on Familiar. I think I'm going to play the Overgrown Tomb first. Alright, Familiar, go. Hopefully I don't have a discard spell. We just slam the trail. Just windmill slam the trail. Basic Forest, huh? Alright, attack you. I'm going to play this as a green land in case I draw Finale. Alright, Trail. Trail, what's up? And then we're going to have Cat Oven Trail going. Sheesh. If they don't have a removal spell for this Trail, they're going to be in trouble. Seems like they don't. Alright, attack step. Attack for 1. Let's go Crack Catacombs for a basic Swamp. Play Oven. Play another Familiar, and then we can go through an Oven loop and then pay 1 for the Trail. We could play an Ice Fang. Nope, no Ice Fang. Field of Ruin. Sure. Get our last basic. They have red mana. Navigator's Compass? Holy. What the heck is going on over there? What in tarnation? They won. Get another Oven. I can actually sack the food again, just a loop. Yeah, I think that's fine. I'll take a Saga. We're just outvaluing them to the nth degree. This is going to be tough if they don't have Graveyard Hate. This is going to be tough if they don't have Graveyard Hate. So they go to 16. Play Saga. Play Oven. Play Book. And you may proceed. You may proceed. They have their... Oh my god. How many colors are they playing with Saga? Holy crap. Until end of turn, target land you control becomes the basic land type of your choice, in addition to its other types. Okay. Man, their deck is so weird. A lot going on over there. Alright, sack the Familiar. Sack a food. Pay 1 for the Trail. Let's just take some more Sagas. That comes back. Drain happens. I don't even need to kill their Rented 6. I probably will, but I don't really have to. Let's get the Willow Geist. Why not? That comes back. Drain you for 1. Untap. Saga goes up to chapter 2. Let's go to attack step. I'll attack them for 2. Yeah, I guess I'll probably kill the Renin 6 after playing a Peatland. Yeah, let's just blow up the red and 6, and then we can make a Saga token. Alright, your turn. I could have, instead of casting Abrupt Decay, I could have just activated the trail twice, because I'm going to go through the loop. But I think it's better to just kill the red and make a Saga token, and then get the Shadow Spear. Field of Ruin. Alright, let's make a Saga token. I don't have any basics left. I guess that's another reason to kill the red, but I think that is fine. Alright, no basics. What you got? Alright, let's go through the food loop. The nice thing is, as long as we keep up the cookbook, even if they have like some sort of targeted graveyard hate, we can always just respond. Like if they respond to me sacking a food to get back the cat, we can just discard a card, make a food, get back the cat again. So they can't really break it up. Because we have, as long as we keep the cookbook untapped. And they probably have to chump block the construct this turn, I think. Alright, decline to pay. Which is really unfortunate. I hate giving up value, but, you know, here we are. I hate giving up value. Alright, sack the familiar, get it back. No. Fine, I won't pay. Fine, I won't pay. Alright, untap. I'm going to play the Willow Geist pre-combat, just in case I need to go through food loops mid-combat. You never know. I mean, this is almost certainly going to get a needle, but I don't really know that it matters. Let's go combat. Attack with all. Yeah, they kind of have to chump block, right? They can't afford to take 6. I don't think so. Alright, so they go to 8. I will play a Saga. And ship the turn. Sure, that's fine. Your turn. So they're going to either activate Saga or float mana, and I'm going to respond to Chapter 3 and just go through a couple loops. Because I want to make sure I play around Needle. So go through a loop, pay a mana, put an Overgrown Tomb in my hand, that comes back, drain you, make the Geist bigger. I don't really know how they get out of this. Get another Geist, sure. Okay, that comes back. Drain you, make the Geist bigger, and... Okay, you can resolve Saga. So they're at 6. Graph Digger's Cage. Oh, do they have, like, Dead of Winter? Okay. Sure, I guess. Gain -2 life. Dead of Winter, huh? Their deck is so strange. So strange. Still not really sure what's going on. Alright, so we can go Geist, make a Saga token. Is that better than Geist Squirrel? I think I'm gonna go Geist. Yeah, Geist, pass. Just hold up Saga token. We do have a couple more answers to that Graph Digger's Cage in our deck, so... They made it... I don't even know. They made it an island? Or they made it a mountain. Alright, sack the Geist. Gain a life. Make a food. Now, even though Grafdigger's Cage is in play, I can still sacrifice food to activate Familiar from the graveyard to trigger Trail. I just won't get it back, you know. Attacking? I'll block. I will declare a block. What's this? I guess they could heat this. Block. Alright, block happens. Block happens. Another Dead of Winter. Yeah, sure. Make some food. Make some food. This dies. I don't gain any life. We still have another Saga token. I guess I could have played around Dead of Winter by not activating the thing in combat. Okay, it's a mountain. So they have red-blue. Sure. More Ragavans. They have one card left. That's a pretty good draw. So let's go make a construct. I guess they're just going to play around Needle. Make a construct, get, I think, just Soul Guide Lantern. And just Lantern them now. Just so they can't, their Renin 6 is dead, and they also can't, I want to do it while they're tapped out so they can't Unholy Heat, is what I'm getting at. Alright, green, green, done. Search my library. What's this? Drown in the Lock. Wasn't expecting that one. Alright, untapped. Squirrel. Go. We even make the squirrel big, because we can just keep sacking food from our... Yeah, we can actually make this lethal next turn. Because again, even though they have the cage in play, I can still sacrifice food to the familiar. And this will still get bigger. Alright, so they're Lurising. But they actually have to chump block with the Luris this turn, so... Let's see, unless they drew a land, they could have sacked the Compass. Oh no, this is tap. I thought you had to sack this thing. Okay, so do I want to make a food? No, it's worse if I draw Asmo. Okay, so untap. Perfect. Yeah, this should be game over. So yeah, they're dead. Alright, cool. Game number 3. Okay. Man, their deck is so weird. Man, these games do go pretty long. They didn't show me any graveyard hate. Well, they have the Grafdigger's Cage, I guess, but that makes Bloodghast a lot worse. What if I just cut all of the Bloodghast? Because that seems like my weakest card against the cards they showed us, and we just have, like, more threats. Have the Squirrel. I like the Loam, I like the Scoos, I love the Trails, I like all the 2-mana removal spells. The Needle, I guess Needle's decent at shutting off Field of Ruin if they go for that. Plus it also hits Renin 6. Maybe just the 4th Familiar as an additional blocker for Ragavan? Okay, I'll buy that. I think Bloodghast is kind of bad. It's just so mediocre and really bad against Cage. Alright, Blooming Marsh. No second green, no way to discard Troll King, no blocker for Ragavan. There's a lot of problems with this hand. Shadow Spear with nothing to do with it. As much as I really dislike mulliganing in a matchup like this, I think this hand is just too bad. Oh, well, this one's worse. I guess the bright side is they also mulliganed. Okay, I have to keep this. I think I'm going to put back the Oven. And I think on the draw I have to get lucky and put back the Catacombs. Yeah. Alright, let's go. So I can go turn 1 Cookbook, discard Troll King. I mean, this is kind of a fast Troll King, which may or may not be good enough, but... Ragavan. Okay. Not exactly what we're looking to draw, but I guess protection against them killing the first one is not that bad. Fortunately, we don't have the familiar this time to blow them out, but... Also, the reason I'm getting non-basics is because they showed us Field of Ruin last game. So I don't really want to get a basic land. What's this? It's like, oh, Maelstrom Pulse. Yeah, that sucks. Alright, put this in my graveyard. Street Wraith, maybe? Oh, no, I boarded out the Street Wraiths, yeah. Alright, well, hope this is good enough, because I got nothing else. That sucks. That sucks. Fabled Passage. Fabled Passage in Modern, huh? Alright. Alright, fetch go. Try and block this Ragavan. I definitely have to block. Assassin's Trophy. They probably could have went to attacks first, and they could have just killed it in response to me fetching, but... Oh my god, they also hit an Overgrown Tomb. Wait, did they hit a basic as well? Oh my god, they hit 2 fetchables. Oh, that's so sick. Oh, that's so gross. Because now I have no more fetchables, because they hit an Overgrown Tomb and the Forest. God. Legion's End? Oh boy. Their deck has a lot of hitters. A lot of spicy ones over there. A lot of spicy ones. Man, we're super dead. This game's over. Alright, name Ren. Saga, go. Not a lot we can do. 2 cards left. Man. Yep. Maelstrom Pulse, Assassin's Trophy, Legion's End, Fabled Passage. Those are all modern legal cards. I mean, you know. Alright, they get a Lurrus. And... Finale. Finale. I think that's better than making a Saga token. Guess it's worse against the removal spell. Because then they just kill the Asmo with the trigger on the stack. Yeah, I think that's actually worse than just making a Saga token. Although, if they have a removal spell, they just kill the Saga token, right? Not sure. Not sure which is better. They're both bad. Yeah, they have this too. Yeah, I think we're just dead. Feels like we're dead. They have like Kolaghan's Command. Shatter this, shock this, then they can use the Ren and 6 again. Seems like they have Kolaghan's Command. Green, something. They're tapping a lot of mana. Force of Vigor. Okay. Can I block? I can block. Oh, I guess they're just going to lure us and replay it. Yeah. Well, I guess if they lure us and replay it, I can go Finale for 0, play Cookbook, discard Asmo, kill the Lurrus, and then have a blocker for the Ragavan. I don't think that's good enough, but... I don't want to play that. I want to play this one. Alright, finale for 0, search, get an Asmo. Love to use the ability, play Cookbook, discard 3rd Asmo, and I have to kill the Lurrus right now. They go to 24, we have a blocker for the Ragavan, but they also just have a Saga. Feels like we're dead. Upkeep activating. Worth noting, you don't have to do this until your main phase. I mean, it's just always correct to do it in your main phase, because you get to see what you draw. I mean, in this case, given how late it is into the game, it's not going to matter, because they're just going to activate it anyways. But, like, maybe they want to tap different lands to activate it, depending on what they draw or something. So just worth noting, always activate it in your main phase. No reason to upkeep it. Small thing. Alright, Fabled Passage into the graveyard. Uh-huh. I don't really think we have outs. Yeah, I've seen enough. Alright, we're 2-2. I'll see you back here in just a little bit for round number 5. Alright, YouTube, it's been a long league. We're here the last round. Played against Lurrus. What do we open up with? We open up with a hand that is not actually that bad. So we can go turn 1 Squirrel. I should probably put my stop back here. Turn 1 Squirrel. Turn 2 Squirrel plus Cookbook. Cookbook, discard Familiar, sack the food, get back the Familiar, trigger both Squirrels. So this is kind of a cool hand. Depending on what we were up against. We were up against a... looks like Jund Saga. Okay. Jund Saga. Or Yund Saga, as it were. Classic Yund. Alright, they bobbled me. What did they see? Let's find out. Let's see what they saw. Hopefully it's a Daredevil. It's a Dark Boar Pathway. Alright, Forest. Squirrel time. I guess my best draw is probably Oven, right? Because Oven Familiar with 2 Squirrels is pretty dope. I kind of have to assume at least my first Squirrel is dying. I guess leading on Squirrel is worse if they have Ren and 6. Maybe I'm supposed to lead on Cookbook. And then just go double Squirrel. Discard Cat, make them 2/2s. That probably would have been better. Because this is really bad if they have Ren. Okay, they're Naya, not Jund. Probably still that, like, Saga deck. Oh, I guess they could be, Zoo. But Zoo usually doesn't play Bobble, I think. I don't remember. No, Zoo does play Bobble. Alright, bolting the Squirrel, I would assume. Squirrel down. They bind a Wild Nacatl. Okay. And they have a Wild Nacatl. Alright, so we'll take 3, go to 17. And then we'll go... Black Pathway. Cookbook, Squirrel, discard Familiar. Yeah. Cookbook, Squirrel, discard Familiar. Get Familiar back, chump block the Nacatl, make the Squirrel bigger. Yeah, this is good. Chump block Nacatl, gain a life, make the Squirrel bigger. Next turn, discard Troll King, sack food, get back the Familiar, make a 3/3 Squirrel. Okay, yeah, this is not bad. Depends on what their leftovers are, but this is a good setup. Alright, so discard Familiar. Then sack the food, make the Squirrel a 2/2, chump block the Nacatl. And then I have the Familiar in my graveyard, which is kind of where I want it to be. I don't have an extra food to sack, but... Alright, chump block Nacatl, go to 15. Have a 2/2 Squirrel, which is relevant if they have Ren and 6. But if they're playing the Tribal Zoo deck, they probably don't play Ren and 6. Alright, they have a Kavu. A Kavu. What's their last card? What is your last card? Well, they're not casting it. There's the Oven. Okay, so what's the best way to go about this? I wonder if I should attack this turn. They're at 14. Okay, let's play Oven. I kind of want to attack because I can discard Troll King, get back a food. Oh, but it's going to be a trade, right? Because they can make this a 4/4. Yeah, so I think I might not. Yeah, I think attacking is kind of bad. Because I go discard Troll King, make a food. Sack food, get back familiar, 3/3. Tap Oven, sack familiar, make a food. Oh, I can make it a 5/5 because then I get another activation there. Okay. But yeah, because then the familiar ends up in play. They take 5, then I chump block here. If they kill the familiar, that's kind of bad, right? Because then I could potentially take 11 damage, but I'd be at 17. Yeah, I think the attack is fine. Then they get to attack back with the Kavu. Huh. Well, okay. No, I think I like the attack. Yeah, I think I like the attack. I think attack's good. Alright, so discard Troll King. Oh, but now... This is bad, because now they just get the Troll King with the Kavu. I mean, the thing is, I'm kind of far enough away from the Troll King that I don't know if that matters. Like, I don't really think I'm anywhere close to the Troll King. So I think this is okay. Because this, like, incentivizes them to attack with the Kavu. Which is kind of what I want them to do. Because I don't really care about the Troll King. I don't think so. I think I'm more in on this Squirrel. Alright, Tomb, tapped, go. I think this makes sense. I guess I could have kept the Troll King in hand and discarded a land, which might have been better. But, like, now they're at 6, the Squirrel is basically lethal, so they have to leave back a blocker. And if they only leave back one blocker, they actually lose to Asmo, because I can go sack, make a food, discard, make a food, play Asmo, kill their blocker. So they have to leave like two blockers back to play around Asmo. I don't know, I think this is okay. Alright, so they're going to probably eat the Troll King. Yeah, that's fine. But now I can just get a free block. So we block there. Familiar dies. They have one blocker. Alright, Sacred Foundry tapped, and no Luris. Okay. So... They're at 6. Interesting. I could sack the Peatland, try to find Asmo. Which I think is good. Yeah, let's do that. I can actually leave up double green in case I draw Finale. Okay, I did not draw Asmo. So I go to attacks. Oh, I wonder if they have like a bolt. And they're going to try and block bolt me. Well, I can make this a 7/7, right? Because I discard a card, make a food. Sack a food, get back familiar, 6/6. Sack the familiar, 7/7. Yeah, I can make it a 7/7, so even if they have bolt, that's fine. Alright, so let's Abyss you. They have to block with the Nicodle. It's interesting they didn't Luris, though. They probably have something. I don't know what they could have. They would have played Tribal Flames if they had it. They probably would have played another creature if they had it. I guess they could have like a 2-mana instant. It's probably just Bolt, to be honest with you. I think it's probably just Bolt. Alright, so we'll just let damage happen. And then I'll just pass priority. Do I want to play the cookbook? Oh, I guess they could have Unholy Heat. I don't know if their deck plays Heat, though. The Zoo list that I've seen don't play Heat. Let's play the cookbook, and then I'll pass. So if they go to attack with both, I can discard a card from my hand, get back the familiar. Familiar, block the Kavu. Yeah, because again, we're in a spot where they need a blocker. So if they don't have a creature, they actually have to leave back the Kavu and jump block. And this squirrel's putting in work. This squirrel is putting in work. Alright, so they're attacking with the Kavu, which means they either drew a prismatic ending or a blocker. They're going to target the familiar. I'm going to respond. Make a food. I'm going to get back the familiar. Trigger the squirrel, get back the familiar. They go to 5, I go to 15. And then we block, sack to the oven, make a 7/7. Alright. Kavu's ability resolves. And then I block. And I sack. Grow the squirrel again, 7/7. Okay, take 3, go to 12. And then what, they play a blocker? Do they have, like, Path to Exile? I guess they have Path to Exile. I don't think they usually play Path main deck, though. I'm pretty sure the list that I played didn't have main deck Path. I mean, I'm going to attack them with a 7/7. Alright, they do have main deck Path. Okay. Do have main deck Path. Alright, well, the Witch's Oven is tapped. So, they go to 4. Get our other basic. Something good. That is not something good. Alright, attack you for 1. I'm going to keep the land in hand to be able to discard it to make a food. So they go to 3. I mean, we can keep our head above water with this Kavu. We can definitely keep our head above water with the familiar gaining some life and kind of blanking the Kavu. So I don't really think we're in that bad of a spot. I guess if they have another path and we tap the oven, they can get the familiar. And that's a spot we would be. That's definitely a bad spot to be in, but I don't know that I can play around another path, because I don't really think I want to take 7 damage here. So they're going to loot. Okay. Well, rummage. Alright, yeah, I'm just going to go for it. Yeah, so tap, sack the familiar. If they don't have if they don't have path, they lose, right? Because I can make a food here. Yeah, sack, bring it back. They go to 2, block. They go to 1, untap, sack, bring it back. All right, block. So I go to 11, which means I'm not even dead if they have double tribal flames. Well, they don't have a blue source anyways, but now they're at 2 and they can't crack a fetch. All right, bring this back. They go to 1. Because if they had path, they would have done it by now, right? They would have pathed before blocks. Because the oven was already tapped. Alright, cool. Up a game. These games are kind of stressful. Not gonna lie. Alright, Bone Shards, I think is pretty good against the all one-drop deck. Thoughtseize bad. Trail's too slow. Ooze is kind of bad. Command is non-creature, so absolutely not. Decay. Decay's not bad, but it trades down on mana with their 1-drops. It does trade even with their 2-drops, though, so it might be worth it. Needle, Lantern. Is Lantern good? Lantern could be good. I'm going to cut some of the slower stuff. Like Loam, I think, is too slow. Probably don't like Bloodghast not being able to block is kind of sketch, and maybe maybe like the third Willow Geist or Squirrel on the draw. I mean, these things get pretty big, but they're going to be bringing in Graveyard Hate too, so I think I'd rather be a little less reliant on that stuff. Yeah, I like this. This looks good. All right, so game 2, up a game. God, this league has been long. If you've made it to this point, let me know. Let me know in the comment section below, because man, this has been a long league. And there's going to be a lot of editing with this one. Lots and lots and lots of editing. All right, looks like our opponent is back. We got a Saga and a bunch of spells. Don't think I'm keeping that one. 2 lands. Oh yeah, this hand's juiced. Put back the Familiar, right? I want to keep both Asmos in case they have a removal spell for the first one. Yeah, like this. This hand is juiced. Unfortunately, I do have to play the Overgrown Tomb on turn 1 because I need double green, and I can't play Green Source and Asmo on turn 1, so I do have to take a little bit of damage, but it's not too bad. Never mind. Never mind, we're the luckiest. We drew Pathway, because we're very lucky. I mean, I guess if I was asking for things, I would prefer... I don't know what I would prefer, but... Prismatic Ending. Well, they're going to need another removal spell. Let's hope they don't have another removal spell. Take 2, go to 16. Exile the Blooming Marsh, which is acceptable. Another cookbook. I mean, I guess I could slow roll the finale for a turn to wait until I get 2 more food, but then I'm taking another Ragavan hit. And I think that's just too, I think that's too bad, because the Asmo can block the Ragavan, so I think I'm just going to do it this way. I think I have to do it this way. Like, yeah, it sucks that they have another removal spell, but... I guess I could have also cycled Street Wraith to try and find, like, a 1-drop. And then if I drew something like a Cauldron Familiar or a Squirrel or a Geist, I could just go Cookbook plus 1-drop, block the Ragavan, next turn Asmo with 2 food in play, which might have been better. So it's possible I should have just started the turn by cycling Street Wraith there. Scourge of the Skyclaves. Okay. Well, I can just kill that thing, right? Alright, let's go... I can afford to go to 14, right? Because it's going to be a 6/6. I think I can. It's a little bit risky if they have a bolt. But then if they have a bolt... Yeah, I think it's fine. Because it's like pretty high upside to get the squirrel bigger. Because now I can go... Yeah. Now I can go discard Daredevil. Discard Daredevil. Sack 2 food, kill the Scourge, make the squirrel bigger. Yeah. It's like, it's a little risky, but it's super high upside. And now we're just going to take over the game. Now we are chillin'. What's this? Force of Vigor on the 2 cookbooks, maybe? Which is fine, because I have another cookbook. That's annoying, but I can live with it. I can live with it. And they kept a card on top. Worth noting. So they have a good card on top. I will take 3 damage. Ooh, is it Shadow Spear time? We can cycle the Wraith first. Try to find another cookbook. I guess it's the last cookbook, but... Okay. Did we just go Shadow Spear up the Squirrel, attack for 4, leave back the Asmo? I think so. I think that's what I want to do. Oops, not activating that. So let's go equip here. Attack for 4. I think it's worth leaving back the Asmo. I guess the awkward part about this line is we're not making a food this turn. But I don't know. I mean, if they kill the Asmo, I think that's not even that bad for us. I think the card we're more concerned about them killing is the Squirrel. Because we can make that thing really big. They put a Scourge on top? They put a Kavu on top. Okay. Yeah, I guess that's punishment for not making a food. Ooh. It's a good draw. Black, green. Kill that thing. Question is, do I want to attack with the Asmo and put them to 2 if they don't block? Yeah, because then I have 2 lethal creatures. Yeah, I think that's fine. There's not even that much they can hit off of my deck that's even that good. And I don't really know that they can go to 2 here. Because I gained 4, go to 14. I can't add a Tribal Flames because it's only 3, 4, 5, plus 5 is 10. So I'm not even dead to Tribal Flames. They actually know about the last 2 cards in my hand, too, so they have perfect information. Like, I'm kind of fine either way. If they want to chump block, that's fine. If they don't want to block, then we have 2 lethal creatures next turn. Kind of in either way. Alright, so they go to 5. Play this. They know my hand, so I'm just going to make a food now. Alright, your turn. That thing has to attack. We can even sack a food to make the squirrel lethal by itself. We can make a food and Asmo something. I mean, even if they draw... I guess they could draw a removal spell for the squirrel and not be dead. Alright, dash Ragavan. I don't think that's going to do it. Alright, go to 9. Yeah, there's really nothing they can hit off of my deck. Yeah, Hubman's not going to do it. Yeah, because they go to 8, and then we just sack a food and kill them. Cool. Alright, 3 and 2. That was a long league. 3 and 2, it was... I mean, obviously I lost the burn, but it was kind of an honorary 4-1. I just messed up against burn. But 3 and 2, deck felt a lot more powerful than I initially anticipated it was going to be. I was really impressed with Ravenous Squirrel. That's actually the first time that I played multiple copies of that card. Bloodghast was kind of medium, didn't really come up that much, so I would consider cutting Bloodghast for potentially more copies of Finale, maybe the 4th Street Wraith, maybe the 4th Willow Geist, but man, Ravenous Squirrel was really, really impressive. I was a big fan of that card. So maybe this food deck is good? Maybe? Anyways, if you made it all the way to the end of the video, make sure to hit the thumbs up button, subscribe if you enjoy the content, and I will see you in the next one.